World War II, 1939 to 1945, was a global conflict involving the Allied powers led by the US, Soviet Union, UK, and China against the Axis powers, which is led by Germany, Italy, and Japan. It began with Germany's invasion of Poland and saw major battles across Europe, Africa, and the Pacific. Key events included the Holocaust, D-Day, and atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The war ended with Germany's surrender in May 1945 and Japan's in August 1945. It led to the Cold War, the United Nations formations, decolonization, and major geopolitical shifts. Causes of World War II. Treaty of Versailles, 1919. The harsh conditions imposed on Germany after World War I led to resentment and economic hardships. The treaty demanded heavy reparations, territorial losses, and military restrictions. Rise of totalitarian regimes. Adolf Hitler in Germany, Benito Mussolini in Italy, and militaries in Japan pursued expansionist policies. Expansionism and aggression. Japan invaded Manchuria in 1931 and China in 1937, while Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1935 and Germany annexed Austria in 1938 and Czechoslovakia in 1939. Failure of the League of Nations. The League was unable to prevent aggression by the Axis powers. Next is policy of appeasement. Britain and France allowed Germany to expand, hoping to avoid war. Last is the Nazi-Soviet Pact. Germany and the Soviet Union agreed to divide Poland, leading to Germany's invasion on September 1, 1939. Key treaties and agreements. Molotov and Ribbentrop Pact in August 1939, a non-aggression pact between Germany and the Soviet Union, secretly divided the Eastern Europe. Tehran Conference, 1943. Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin coordinated military strategies. Last is the Treaty of San Francisco in 1951, officially ended the war with Japan. Key individuals, Allied leaders. Winston Churchill, British Prime Minister who led Britain through the war. Second, Franklin D. Roosevelt, U.S. President who led the country until his death in April 1945. Harry S. Truman, Roosevelt's successor, ordered the atomic bombings. Fourth is Joseph Stalin, Soviet leader who led the Red Army against Germany. And last is Charles de Gaulle, leader of the Free French forces. The Axis leaders. Adolf Hitler, dictator of Nazi Germany, responsible for the Holocaust. Second, Benito Mussolini, Italian fascist leader who was overthrown in 1943. Third, Emperor Hirohito, Japan's emperor. His government led the war effort. Fourth, Hideki Tojo, Prime Minister of Japan, executed for war crimes. Military commanders. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of Allied Forces in Europe. Douglas MacArthur, led the Pacific Campaign and oversaw Japan's post-war occupation. Third, Erwin Rommel, famous German general known as the Desert Fox. Last is Georgy Zhukov, led the Red Army to victory in major battles. Significance of World War II and its impact on global politics. The emergence of the Cold War in 1947 to 1991. The war ended with two dominant superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, holding conflicting ideologies, which is the capitalism versus the communism. This led to bipolar world order. The world was divided into pro-US, the western part, and pro-Soviet, the eastern blocs. Formation of the United Nations in 1945. The failure of the League of Nations led to the creation of the UN to prevent failure conflicts. The key impacts include maintaining peace and security, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, decolonization, and the end of empires. World War II weakened European colonial powers, leading to independence movements and new nations and conflicts. The struggle for independence led to civil wars and regional conflicts such as partition of India and Pakistan. Fourth, the division of Germany and the Iron Curtain. Germany was divided into East Germany, Soviet controlled, and West Germany, which is the US backed. Economic and technological advancement. The Marshall Plan, Japan's economic recovery and technological innovations. The birth of military alliances. NATO and Warsaw Pact. NATO, a military alliance of Western countries led by the US. The Warsaw Pact is a Soviet led military alliance in response to NATO. These alliances fueled global military conflicts and interventions throughout the Cold War. The nuclear age in global security. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki introduced nuclear warfare as a geopolitical factor. Nations pursued nuclear weapons for deterrence, leading to international arms control treaties such as Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty in 1968. World War II redefined global power structures, ending European dominance and ushering in the Cold War. It led to the rise of international institutions, the collapse of colonial empires, and significant economic and technological advancements. Its impact is still evident in today's geopolitical landscape, with lingering conflicts, alliances, and power struggles tracing back to its aftermath.